Evening, everyone. Welcome back to another episode here with our NASCAR Talk, doing another preview of our upcoming race weekend. Tonight, we're lucky to have with us the great knowledgeable or lack of knowledgeable NASCAR fan from Houston, Texas, Doug. So what's going on down there? Earlier before the stream, I heard you say it's already hitting 90 degrees down there.
Sure is, man. Summer is in full effect.
Yeah.
What's it, May tomorrow, maybe? Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think technically you're still in the preheat stage of summer.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've hit full bore summer yet. So,
what y'all doing today? Like 70 degrees?
No. 58.
Oh, what? That is insane, man.
Yeah, we're looking at let's see here real quick. I'll give you the weather here. It'll be 52 tomorrow, 51 Saturday, and then we get into the upper like 60s, almost 70 come Monday.
And those are the highs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the lows are in the 40s and 30s. Yeah.
Interesting.
Pretty loving it up here, love that weather.
Well, it's still hockey season. Hockey's still going on, so it might as well be
true.
A little cold.
I'm hoping hockey goes on a little longer after tonight, too. We got game 6 with my Stars and the Wild, and Dallas is in a must win. So, so we're going to see what happens. Other than that, we're gonna take the trek with the NASCAR haulers making their way down there across the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, just northwest of Fort Worth. I don't even remember. They actually named a city. I want to say it may be called Speedway, Texas now. I don't know. But yeah, it's out there. It's got its own little city name, but it's pretty much Fort Worth is what everybody knows it as.
Yeah. I drove by it a couple of times going to Colorado. Kind of takes you that way.
Yeah,
you literally drive right by the Speedway. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, it's big. It's huge. And when you think about it, it's not even the biggest one on the track, on the circuit. When you drive by, you think how big it is. But like where they raced last week at Talladega is the biggest.
Oh, that's the biggest track?
Well, that's the biggest oval. I mean, I don't count the road courses. They're longer. But now Pocono up in Pennsylvania in the Pocono Mountains is actually the longest track, but it's a triangle. So, yeah, I know that sounds weird. It's a triangle. It's called the Tricky Triangle, but we'll be there in a couple of weeks, actually. But yeah, but to put it in perspective, how big Talladega is, you can fit all 16 SEC football stadiums in the infield.
What?
Yeah.
So that's how wide the track is around?
Yeah. From the area inside the track, just inside the track, you can fit all 16 SEC football stadiums.
That's insanity, man.
Actually, I think it's 14 because they did it before Texas and Oklahoma joined. So it might be 14, but you can fit at least all 14 before Texas and Oklahoma joined in the center of the racetrack.
Damn. I did not realize
you could have, if you think about it, you could have 14 SEC football games going on while a race is going on.
Wow.
That's insane. Yeah.
So how long is the track? One lap?
Talladega is 2.6 miles.
Damn.
Texas is 1.5.
Wow. That's the big difference right there, man.
That's a mile.
Yeah.
And you know,
that's crazy.
Now this is what's gonna we'll revisit this when we get to the lap records, because I want you to think about it when we get to those. So, but we'll go back with some, as I always like to start off with some just little facts about the track. It opened in 1997. was the first year it held a race. It actually opened in 96, but the first race was 97. And it had been more than a decade since NASCAR had been in Texas, because people don't realize right outside of College Station, there's a racetrack. As you're going into College Station on the right-hand side, there's a racetrack. It says Texas World Speedway. They used to race NASCAR there. Dale Earnhardt, Cale Yarborough, all them people used to race there. Well, the track had some financial issues back then in the 70s, early 80s. There wasn't a lot out there except A&M. So the track had some hard times and wound up closing. But so Texas didn't have any NASCAR events in a state of that size. So they decided they wanted to go west of the Mississippi, and they couldn't figure out where to put it. And they were looking at Las Vegas, Dallas, Fort Worth, and St. Louis at the time. Well, the guy in Las Vegas, there was another guy looking at the same piece of land. So NASCAR backed out. Well, that guy bought the land and put Las Vegas Motor Speedway there. So it was between Dallas and St. Louis, and they went to St. Louis. And when they looked at the land, all the land they looked at had been flooded by rain. So they decided to go to Dallas Fort Worth. That's how Dallas Fort Worth got a racetrack.
And that was back in the 70s?
No, that was back in the 90s. In the 90s.
That's crazy, man. Why is Texas so behind on NASCAR as far as like popularity like that?
NASCAR was mostly southeast. The Carolinas and up the East Coast for the longest time. And it started growing in popularity in the early 90s and stuff. Jeff Gordon had a big play in that. And so they decided, well, let's go west of the Mississippi and see what happens. And, to me, Dallas Fort Worth made sense because there was nothing like that in there. And so they wound up going. That's how they landed on Dallas Fort Worth. There was actually talks at one point of putting one south of Houston. But the people they had talked to turned it down because it was going to bring too much noise to the area.
Well, maybe Texas was just used to IndyCar more because of that AJ Foyt and all that. I remember growing up, that's all you heard about was AJ Foyt and IndyCar. And
well, that's if people would have paid attention to, though. You had Cale Yarborough was from Texas. The two Labonte brothers, Bobby and Terry Labonte, are both from Corpus Christi. They race NASCAR. They're both NASCAR champions. So one of the racers right now is from Prosper, right up near Dallas, Chris Buescher. But it's kind of one of those things that it took a while to get there. But the people that turned it down, I want to say they were looking out towards the Brazoria County area to build it. And there was houses out there that said it would be too loud, but they don't realize that it would have also brought millions of dollars into that economy at least once a year. I mean, when these races show up at these towns, like they said, if they would quit going to Watkins Glen up in New York, it would probably cost that region about $10 million a year.
Damn.
From hotels and food and everything that's being, so like when we went to the Bristol race, my wife can vouch for this. The shops that were downtown Bristol even told us, yeah, we look forward to race weekend because that's when we make our money for the whole year. So pretty crazy little shot there, but that's how Texas, that's how Texas International Speedway came to be, because it's now known as Texas Motor Speedway. But they had to go through a lawsuit for that. Because, in 1996, before it opened, they said they were going to call it Texas Motor Speedway. Well, just in this little bitty spot on the map called Alvin, Texas, there was a Texas Motor Speedway already. It's a little dirt track out there. Yeah.
I think I've ever been out there.
Yeah, no, it's out between, I want to say it's between Alvin and Angleton. but it's out there. It's a little dirt track, and they wound up suing, and it was settled out of court. And I'm sure that Texas Motor Speedway, the people that were building that, just cut him a nice little check to say want the name. So yeah, little known fact that Alvin, Texas is not only the home of Nolan Ryan, but it was also a place that fought the name. So real quick before we keep going, we got a couple of questions in here. First off, Darren and Adam have joined us in the chat. Darren is a buddy of mine from up here in Ohio who moved to Georgia. Really, really good guy. I'm glad to see him in here. And Adam, I know Adam is jumping on. He runs trivia a lot. That's how I met him. And another good friend of mine. And he popped up and he's like, "This is the kind of breakdown NASCAR fans want." I try to bring my side of it to be more of people that don't understand the sport or don't know much about it. And I want to give you some details and little facts like that about the Speedway, being sued and all that. That's stuff that people won't even know. There's people in Dallas that probably don't even know this. They go to the track. But real quick, we're going to answer. Darren popped in with a question. He said, if NASCAR expands, what city would be a good one to recommend? That's a good one because I would obviously say somewhere in the south part of Texas, down between the Houston, San Antonio, Austin corridor. I think it would thrive down there. Somewhere out like the LaGrange area. It's somewhere out there where you could pull traffic from all three cities. I would love to see the one in College Station come back around, but that's just nostalgia for me. Other cities, the Columbus area would be good. There's a pretty good staple of people. When I listen to Sirius XM NASCAR radio, there's a lot of people that call in from Ohio. So that would be good. But if you want to go somewhere totally different, there's been a lot of clamoring for them to go to the Northeast, up in the Seattle, Washington, Portland, up kind of that way. Because the O'Reilly series goes up there on a road course and it draws pretty well. So other than that, I mean, you've got St. Louis, which is kind of in the middle there. You got Kansas. Kansas City has one. Dallas Fort Worth can service that. Phoenix has one. California doesn't have one. I see California. Well, they have a road course, but yeah, Houston. I could see the Columbus kind of area, even though Michigan has one, which is only 2 hours away. Kentucky has a speedway. I could see that reopening in time, just south of Cincinnati. So there's a few places that I could say they could go to.
Is there any in Oklahoma?
No, but you're close enough in Oklahoma that you could literally get up to either Kansas City. You can shoot over to Dallas. Fort Worth is only 5-6 hours based on where you are in Oklahoma. But if you're in Oklahoma City, 4.5, 5 hours to get to Fort Worth-ish kind of.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do what they did on the East Coast, where there's outside of Charlotte, in about a 3-hour radius of Charlotte, North Carolina, you have 8 tracks. And what that does is it pulls attendance because people don't want to go to every race. So they pick and choose which one they want to go to, and that drops attendance from one race and then maybe the next. So you want to spread them out. I kind of like the rotation now. I would be fine if they did put another one in Texas. I think Texas is big enough that they could definitely handle 2. California would be another good one, like I said. But NASCAR owns property in California, but they don't. They're not building on it because the cost of building is too high right now. That tells you how expensive it is to build in California when a $1 billion corporation says, no, this is too expensive.
That's crazy, man. They don't build anything in California anymore.
Mm-mm. So that was a really good question, Darren. That's a good one. I'd have to do some more thinking on that, but those are kind of some of the learns off the top of my head I'd go with. I know Adam's time in here. Just go. One thing that decides the winner in Texas, I mean, besides speed.
Speed.
To be honest, I think in Texas it's going to come down to who has track position at the end. It's this next gen car that they're in now, the Gen 7 car, is hard to pass because of the air flow off the car in front of you, called dirty air, affects the car in the back really bad. It makes it hard to pass. So I would say the biggest thing that's going to decide the Texas race is going to be track position going into the third stage or after the last pit stop. Whoever comes out in front is probably going to be your winner, unless you have a lot of crashes and stuff, and then that can change the whole game. But to me, track position is going to play key here in Texas, in my mind. This is not a track that I can point to like Kansas. I can point to and say Toyotas are going to dominate the race because they always do. Texas, it doesn't have one manufacturer that dominates. It's been spread out, the winners amongst all three manufacturers. So, but to go into the side of it, this is back in 2021 was the last they did. They said it can hold 75,000 people. It's a 1.5 mile oval. It's got 20 degrees of banking in the first two turns. So turn 1 and turn 2 are banked 20 degrees, and turn 3 and 4 are banked 24 degrees. So it's got different banking, so it makes setting up the car different. Because a car may handle one way going on 20 degrees, but it's going to handle different going on 24 degrees. So you gotta kind of weigh your options. Texas was one of the fastest tracks on the circuit before they went to the new reconfiguration and repaving it. And the racing's been pretty bad there for a few years. It's coming back. It was better last year, so I'm hoping this year will be even better. But yeah, when you talk about banking, man, you're talking, this is flat, like this, and then you're going to go 24 degrees.
That's crazy. And they all get a test run anyways before the race, right? Like,
well, on some tracks.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah. Like most of the, like on the super speedways, Daytona, Talladega, there's no practice. They get to qualify and that's it. But on these tracks, they do have practice. They break it up into two groups of 20-minute practice each, and then they do qualifying right after that. So you get 20 minutes of track time to kind of work on your car. And, whoever hits it right, hits it right.
How many drivers have to qualify for that race? Well, in most races. And how many actually try to qualify and don't?
Well, in NASCAR, you have a charter system now where it used to be you paid for the charter but now they went through this whole lawsuit. I'm not going to get into the details, but now they're permanent charters. They used to not be permanent. Now they are. Okay. But it was used to be somewhere around 35 million to own a race team. So 36 teams have charters. So 36 teams are guaranteed into the race. And then every now and then you'll have some teams like there's a couple of smaller teams that don't race the whole season. They just pick and choose races to go to. And they put an extra entry in. And so based on pit stalls, if there's 40 pit boxes, then you could have up to 40 cars qualified. Normally, you don't get that many except for Daytona. You don't get as many in for Daytona. Actually, normally gets too many entries, and they have to send some people home. But most other races, 36 chartered, and then any open teams up to normally 40. Normally, it's about 37 or 38. We'll try to start some races, so that's about the average is about 38. Man, look at this. We're getting all kinds of questions here. Darren got another one real quick. if you were a NASCAR driver, what driver would you want as a teammate and why? He can be retired or current. That's a good question, Darren. My gut would automatically go to Kevin Harvick, because I know he's done a lot for younger drivers when he was their teammate. He was like the elder statesman of the group. Jeff Burton is another one that comes to mind. He was the actual inaugural race winner at Texas, was Jeff Burton. They call him the governor or the mayor, because he's so well liked in the race thing. Man, that's tough. There's so many. I mean, now if you want me to go with a retired one, and I pick one retired one, I'd say probably Kevin Harvick. If you want me to choose one that's current right now, I'm probably going Ryan Blaney.
Amen.
Just due to the simple fact that Ryan Blaney is a good teammate. But man, if you win a race, that dude knows how to party. So you don't want a teammate that's boring. You win a race, you want to go out and celebrate. So he'd be one that would be there with you. So that'd probably be my current driver right now. So, a lot of people may go with the old standbys and go with like Dale Earnhardt or something like that. But that's my opinion. Is Harvick or Blaney would be my teammate I would choose. So we talked about the banking and stuff. And I want you to think about this too real quick. Up until 2017, the racing width of the racetrack was 58 feet. So call it 60 feet. You're talking 20 yards. Right?
Yep.
So you're looking at that, and I want you to take 3 to 4 cars and put them next to each other, going about 175, 80 miles an hour in 20 yards of a football field. Yeah. Makes you think.
Yeah.
Now it's widened out to 80 feet. So you're good. You got a lot more. You almost got 30 yards now. And it makes it a lot more wide open. People can drive. You'll see guys on the low end of the track. You'll see guys up near the wall. You'll see guys in the middle. Texas is a good race to watch. I'm really hoping it's better this year than it has been in previous years. So.
I wish I had it during the summer sometime, even though that'd be a scorcher. But I might be able to check it out.
They used to. They used to do it in like June, but attendance dropped so much because nobody could go stand it. Nobody could stand it. I mean, they were having so many I guarantee you, they were having tons of calls about overheating and exhaustion.
Yeah, I bet.
June outside of Fort Worth, you're talking 100 degrees already, easy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in a NASCAR racing that hot outside. I mean, it's already 100 degrees in the car, right?
Well, and it's metal bleachers. You're
fans too. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even like going to Texas Ranger baseball games in the summer, sitting out there in the outfield. That was brutal, but we did it. But, so that's just kind of the part of that there that this is crazy. But like I said, and if people go back and watch, anybody watching that wants to, you can get free tickets to any race you want if you do the fan reward stuff. I've already got enough to get free tickets to a Truck Series race. And my wife has enough to get Truck Series race. So I can get 4 tickets to a Truck Series race for free today. So if you go back and watch the NASCAR for Beginners series I've done, it'll walk you through how to get to them. You don't have to start at the beginning part is just talking about NASCAR. I get into the fan rewards in the later episodes of it, and I'm going to get into it a little bit today too. So, how do I feel about Michael Jordan's success? I think it's phenomenal. It just does nothing but bring more eyes to the sport.
And that guy is just as competitive in this thing than he was in basketball. Seemed like he's like,
he's locked in
hardcore.
Well, his team is the one that sued NASCAR.
What?
Yeah. Him and Denny Hamlin sued NASCAR antitrust, and they settled everything out of court and all this and like I said, I'm not going to get all into what all went down, but they settled out of court, and but Michael Jordan does nothing but bring eyes to a sport. I mean, he could go buy a golf team if there was a golf, and they'd get more eyes on golf all of a sudden. Their race shop's pretty cool too. I've done videos where I went through their race shop. But Jordan is just he wants to win. He wants to compete, and you can see he's involved. He's at every race.
Yep.
This guy, he misses a few a year, but he's at most of the damn races. So I think he's great for the sport. To be honest, NASCAR had the stigma that it was an old white guy sport for the longest time growing up. And you've got somebody like a Bubba Wallace who's driving, and now you've got Jordan involved. So it's kind of breaking down the stereotypes. We've had Hispanic drivers, Juan Pablo Montoya. It's getting more expanded, and I like that. We've even got a guy driving now who's from New Zealand, Shane Van Gisbergen. So, that's just kind of where that is. I see your next question, Darren. I'll get to that one in a minute. We talked about the track being 1.5 miles long. So think in your mind, how long is 1.5 miles? Okay. Just think in your mind about how long it takes you to drive that in your personal car. So, Indy has raced at Texas Motor Speedway too, and I'm only bringing this one up because the driver who set the record was a NASCAR driver too, Tony Stewart. In 1998, he went 22.972 seconds to go around a lap at 1.5 miles. I can promise you're not going 1.5 miles in 22 seconds in your personal car.
Mm-mm.
This is the difference in IndyCar and Cup cars too. Indy cars, you can tell, are so much faster. He went 22.97. Well, Kevin Harvick holds the record for NASCAR, and it was 27.6. So 5 seconds slower. So that's Kevin Harvick. Xfinity Series, which is now the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series, was set by Ryan Blaney, 28 seconds. And then in the Truck Series, Brett Moffitt ran 28.9. So every series is under 30 seconds to go 1.5 miles. Yeah.
Speed.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, it was known as one of the fastest tracks. That in Michigan has probably been the two fastest tracks, believe it or not. Michigan is super fast.
How fast can you get up on the straightaway? That track?
Well, at Michigan, they were clocked at 212 at one point.
Damn.
Going into the first corner. So coming off the front straightaway, getting to the first corner, it was 212. But cars have been adjusted, and they've kind of tapered things back to take that. They don't want the cars going that fast because these stock cars at that speed will lift off the air. Because of all the aerodynamics. It's a 3,500 pound car that can be picked up with 200 miles an hour. So yeah, And there's some news that came out this week regarding that, and I'll get into that on at the end of the show. I like to give kind of any breaking news I've heard about at the end of these. So before we get into we'll do the all-time winners, and then I'll get to your question, Darren. So it's been running there every year since '97, we said, and some years have had 2 races, some years have only had 1. So your leader all time, Jimmy Johnson, which makes sense. I mean, he's a 7-time Cup Series champion. He's got 7 wins there. Carl Edwards has 4. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch has 4. Denny Hamlin has 3. Kevin Harvick has 3. But if we want to look at who's got the most wins there that's active, Kyle Busch with 4 wins, Denny Hamlin with 3. Joey Logano, William Byron, Joey Logano has 2. William Byron, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and Tyler Reddick all have 1. So you've got a good amount of people that are racing this weekend that have won a race there. So experience does have, matter. Joey Logano is the defending race winner. He won last year. I think, did he win last year? Yeah. I think it was either Logano or Chase Elliott won last year. I think Chase Elliott won 2 years ago, and Logano won last year. I thought I had that written down, but I guess I didn't. Oh, yeah, Joey Logano did win last year. Yeah. I thought I had it. So those are just some of your winners from the previous, and I haven't even been showing these past winners. That's where we were. Before we get to the Truck Series preview, I'll go answer Darren's. Who is my Mount Rushmore of NASCAR drivers? The first 3 are easy. It's Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Jimmy Johnson. And the reason those 3 are easy is because those 3 are the only 7-time Cup Series champions.
You mean the other Jimmy Johnson?
Right.
The Jimmy Johnson.
How about them Cowboys? Jimmy Johnson. The other one. The last 2 can be up for debate. A lot of people will say Darrell Waltrip. A lot of people will say one of the Allisons, Donnie Allison or Bobby Allison. Some will say Kyle Busch has got tons of wins. Kevin Harvick has 60. Denny Hamlin has 61.
I'd go with Hamlin, even though he's an asshole.
So Jeff Gordon has to probably be on there because I think he won the Cup.
Yeah, I'm about to say. Jeff Gordon was the Cali boy, right?
Yeah, he was the Cali boy. I'd have to put Jeff Gordon up there. I'd have to almost give it to Darrell Waltrip just due to his ability to drive a race car too. But he was that flamboyant. He was always joking with the media and having fun. So he brought a lot of eyes to the sport back when it really needed it. So the first 4, yeah, you go Richard Petty, obviously known as the King. Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Sr. You have to have those 3. Jeff Gordon would probably have to be on there for sure. And then the last one would be up for debate based on if you're a newer NASCAR fan, you'd probably lean somebody like a Kyle Busch. But if you're kind of an older, locked into it more like me, you're probably going to lean more like Darrell Waltrip. So, but that'd be the top 4, and then you could debate the 5th one for sure. So that gets us through kind of the truck and some other discussion. And now we jump into the Truck Series preview. So the Truck Series is Friday at 5. Friday tomorrow. They start practice at 2:30 and qualifying is at 3:35. That's on FS2. If anybody has cable still, FS2 is where you can find that. And then At 8 o'clock tomorrow is the race. 8 o'clock p.m. That's on FS1. Unless you have the Fox streaming service, Fox One is what they call it now, I believe. Or if you have Sirius XM channel 90, if you have Sirius, you can listen to the race there too. So that's the truck series. Some entries because NASCAR has made it to where Cup Series drivers can drop down and race in the lower series too. Some coming into the race that are entry list for the truck series are Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, and Carson Hocevar. Carson Hocevar won the most recent Cup Series race at Talladega. And if you didn't see it or you want to see it, go look at his celebration. It was insane. I've never seen anything like that. The dude was hanging out half of the car.
Right.
And then did a burnout while hanging out half of the car while up against the wall. So, yeah.
Is that like a victory lap or something?
Nah, he finished, and then he did his little burnout. But before he did he was sitting halfway on, like inside and outside, like sitting on the window almost. And then he took the car and he put the nose of the car up against the wall right near the fans and just put it to the floor while he's hanging out of the car. Go, nice. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Search Carson Hocevar at NASCAR style, and you'll find it. And I've never seen anything like it. I thought it was great. The fans went nuts, and that's what it's about. This kid's 23 years old.
I'm about to say, he looked like a young kid, man.
Yeah, just won his first NASCAR race.
Yeah, 23.
And went nuts with the fans, which is what it's all about. So
he probably got some new fans now doing that.
Oh, they said 100%. Some of the people that were at the race that called into some of the radio shows I listened to said there were people that weren't even Hocevar fans that are now Hocevar fans. Because, I mean, that's what this sport needs. It needs that young blood to come in and, spike it up and get it rolling again. People doing stuff like that. Thank God he wasn't injured.
Right. I'm about to say that.
But doing stuff like that and the fans, I'll tell you this, I'm not a big Carson Hocevar fan. I do have respect for him, and I like him a little more now because of what he does and what happened when I went to the Martinsville race. When I went to the Martinsville race, he was running late to get back from doing an autograph session or a question and answer session. And he had to get back to a team meeting. Well, he was on his way back and a group of kids swarmed him. Like, I'm talking no adults, kids swarmed him, and he stopped and signed every one of their autographs. And that's what I like, that he took the time knowing he might be a couple minutes late for a team meeting, but he was signing autographs for kids. So he didn't have to. He could have said, "Hey guys, I'm late. I'm sorry. I'll see y'all at the next race or something." But no, he stopped and did it. So I thought it was really, really cool of him. So if you want some projections on who I'm looking to watch in the race, so one driver who I would pick, I'm not going to pick any of the Cup Series drivers because everybody knows they're really, really good. I'm not going to do that. When I do my predictions, I'm only going to select people that are more in this series full time. So I'm going to keep my eye on Ty Majeski. That's my driver in the Truck Series. Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs, Stuart Friesen, and Caden Honeycutt are the teams I'm watching at the Truck Series race. That's just, Caden Honeycutt is really good, and he's driving a really good truck. It's the truck that won the championship last year for Corey Heim. Ty Majeski's always in the mix. So those are kind of my predictions for the Truck Series race. And then after the Truck Series race, well, on Friday also, we have at 5 p.m. we have practice and qualifying at 6:05 for the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series. Now the race is in Texas, but mind you, all these times are Eastern. So 6:05 is qualifying. You can watch practice and qualifying on the CW app. They have a streaming app that you can watch it on. And then that's practice and qualifying on Friday. Their race is Saturday at 3:30. It's on the CW network. So you don't need an app or anything. If you can get to the CW, you can watch it.
I got that.
It's also on Sirius XM channel 9. So that race is at 3:30, and then some of your notable entries coming from the Cup Series down are Kyle Larson, Connor Zilich, and Austin Dillon. So Larson is normally one you want to watch in this, but again, I'm not going to pick any Cup Series drivers dropping down. But I will say this is also the fourth and final installment of the Dash for Cash, which is right here. The Dash for Cash has been going on, and what it is we're going to take the top 4 finishers that are O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series drivers, and we're going to put them in the race in Texas, and whoever finishes ahead of the other 3 wins $100,000.
Okay.
Sheldon Creed has won the last 2 of them. So he's already won $200,000 this year. So he could win $300,000. The drivers that are up for it are Corey Day, Brent Cruz, Sheldon Creed, and Sammy Smith. Those are the 4. So whoever finishes in front of the other 3 out of those 4 wins $100,000.
That ain't bad.
Like I've mentioned, they've done this. They did the Triple Truck Challenge with the Truck Series, where it was 3 races, and if you won all 3, you won $500,000. If you won 1, it was $50,000, and if you won 2, it was $150,000, I think. And then coming up in roughly a month, you're going to have the NASCAR breaking with their little thing, which is a bracket. It's a bracket. It's head to head. Which driver finishes higher than the other one in a bracket style. And I can tell you, anybody that wants to fill one out, good luck. Because I filled one out last year against my wife, who knows NASCAR, but not like I do. And she destroyed me. Because in the first race, I lost like 12 of the 16 matchups. Because there was a wreck in Atlanta, and it took out every driver I had winning. So, kind of fun. And everybody loves brackets, let's be honest. Everybody fills out brackets.
Yes, they do.
So if you want to look at some teams to watch for the O'Reilly Series, you always watch Justin Allgaier, drives the number 7 car. He's super good. Jesse Love, Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, Taylor Gray, Corey Day, Sam Mayer, and Carson Kvapil are the 10 I'm going to watch. That would be 8. Sorry, I went 8 here. I think I went 10 on the Cup Series. But those are the ones I'm watching. I would expect that the winner comes out of one of those. Yes, in the O'Reilly Series and the Truck Series, the top competitors kind of separate more than they do in the Cup Series, in my mind. Like, pretty much every week you can pencil in Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love, Creed, Sam Mayer. You can pencil one of them in to be up near the front almost every race. So, but in the Cup Series, it's kind of track dependent. Like this week is a little different, but next week when they go to Watkins Glen, which is a road course, Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be who I'm going to put on there. Connor Zilich is going to be on there because they're road course aces. So you just kind of know what track and who's good at what track. But going into the Cup, you're looking at they do practice and qualifying on Saturday. 12:30 is practice and 1:40 is qualifying. You can watch those on Amazon Prime. Prime Video does qualifying and practice. Prime Video will actually have 5 races too coming up soon. So if you got Amazon Prime, you can watch them. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, they do offer free trials. You could sign up for free trials if you don't have it and just cancel before it starts, and you can watch every race for free. But most people have Amazon Prime nowadays.
Yeah.
I promise you we do, because I have a wife. She loves Amazon Prime. So that's on Prime as practice and qualifying. The race is Sunday at 3:30 p.m. So again, we were talking about you can't do this race in June or July at 3:30 p.m. You would barbecue people, literally. So that's why it has to be either earlier in the season. I wish they would do it in April or November, October even. But you go down there to Texas on the weekends, you're going to be competing with, in the fall, you're going to be competing with, high school football for Friday nights, college football Saturdays, and then pro football Sundays. It's going to be hard to get a draw on that.
But don't they race under the lights?
Yeah, they can.
It'd be better. They should do that over here in Texas, man. Kick it
They
off by
should.
8 o'clock. About 8 o'clock at night.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you have the ability to watch any of the truck series, even if you can't watch it because you don't have Fox or FS1 or whatever, if you have a chance, the NASCAR on YouTube, there's a NASCAR, just subscribe to NASCAR on YouTube. And normally Monday or Tuesday, they normally upload the full race video. So, yeah, the race is over, but you could always go back and watch it. You can watch that under the lights with these trucks, and look how great they look. Phenomenal with those paint schemes and the lights. Dude, night racing is my favorite thing. I love night races. Plus, it's also cooler.
Exactly.
But that's 3:30 on Sunday is the race. On Fox 1, the streaming thing, FS1 is where it's going to be broadcast. If you have HBO Max, they have driver cams on HBO Max that you can actually watch. I think it's 4 or 5 drivers they have selected. Might even be more than that. I don't have HBO Max, so I haven't looked into it. But there's a lot of different cameras. You can watch the drivers, and some of them are facing the driver, I think. Some are facing that way. It's pretty neat little thing. I used to watch the cams on my NASCAR app, but they took the cameras off because HBO, I think, bought the access to it. So, and again, you can always channel 90 on Sirius XM. I've actually got, I think I have 10. Yeah, I have 10 drivers to watch for this, and then I've got a couple of sleepers. So I'm looking at I'm not going to bet against Tyler Reddick. He's won 5 of the first 10 races. Momentum is huge in any sport, and it's the same in NASCAR. Denny Hamlin has been extremely good this year. Joey Logano, defending race champ winner, he obviously knows what he's doing. Ryan Blaney, I never count against Blaney. Blaney has actually had the fastest car all year long, but his pit crew has cost him about probably 3 races.
Oh, damn.
So he's passed more cars than anybody else. He's gone to the back, to the front, more than anybody else. You always watch Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott. The Hendrick Motorsports cars are always really strong. Bell, Hocevar, and Briscoe. Christopher Bell, Carson Hocevar, and Chase Briscoe. And I'm throwing Hocevar in there because he's A, aggressive, and B, momentum again. He just won, so now he's going to want to do it again. So we'll see what happens there. if you want some sleeper picks, somebody that maybe you were gonna put $1 or $2 down on somebody to finish in the top 5 or 10, Daniel Suarez. A real long shot sleeper for me is Kurt Busch, even though he's won there 4 times. There's something missing from that race team for the past couple of years. But Kurt Busch could take a car and take it to the front and win. So he'd be a good sleeper pick if you wanted a top 10 finish. Or Ryan Preece, who drives for RFK. He is a, he's kind of one of those that he's in the mix, but if something goes wrong, he seems to always be caught up in it. If somebody else wrecks, he's going to hit it for some reason. The poor kid can't catch a break. But I like him a lot. He's one of the ones that Kevin Harvick actually kind of was helping mentor when they were at Stewart Haas racing together. So those are my sleeper picks. If you go into, I'm going to pull this up real quick. And then let me come down here and go share screen. Go here, share. So this is where you can get a lot of your info. In fact, they're racing tonight down in Texas on the little dirt track down there. There's a dirt track outside of the track. They're racing down there right now. Sprint cars, little bitty sprint cars. They're fun to watch, dude. If you get a chance to watch sprint cars, watch them. They're fun.
Are they like funny cars or something, or what?
No, they're little cars, but they have wings on the side.
Oh, I think I've seen those.
They're dude. It's insane. If you watch them when they're turning left, they're turning the wheels right to go left.
Oh, hell no.
Because they're sliding the back so much that they have to have the wheels pointed to pull them back straight. It's insane. It is super fun to watch. I didn't even realize it's probably on Flow Racing, which I don't have Flow Racing because if anybody from Flow Racing is watching this, your subscription price is way too high for $30 a month. I'm sorry. I'm not spending $30 a month to watch races. So that's just me. But so if you do the rewards, like I mentioned, we were on this page. This is the main page. Over here, a little icon, click it, and that brings you to your fan rewards, which loads eventually. And then you view your dashboard, and this is where you see how many points you have. I'm sitting with 3,627 right now. I answered this question today. The answer is 603 for anybody that wants to know. That gets you 10 points. You do that every Tuesday and Thursday. Every Wednesday, they do a Powerball thing. You normally get 10 points for that. Sometimes you get more, but normally it's 10, so there's 30 points. This weekend alone, there's 3 races, Truck, O'Reilly's, and Cup Series. If I check in at any time during the race, each of those races, that is 50 points per check-in. So there's 150 points. And because if you don't miss any, you get streaks. 10 streaks get you 100 points. 20 streaks gets you 200 points. Your points just fly up. And then voting, there's little codes you can use if you do the votes. That's how you get your points up so high. And then you look at your rewards catalog, dude. Look. I love internet that doesn't work. But, I mean, you can redeem for 50 points. I can put myself in a drawing for all this right here for the championship weekend. But if you want a signed Kyle Larson helmet, 12,000 points. But you want to look at race tickets, well, let's go see what we can get. So 2,500 points, I can get 2 races to the Michigan International Speedway Cup, the Truck Series race. The Cup race is sold out. Truck Series race to Chicagoland. I mean, anything that's not sold out. I mean, No, most of it's truck series right now because everybody's gotten in and got their stuff. But that's where you get your stuff, and then you've got go back over here. You go up to fantasy, which I'm not gonna set my lineup right now. But you got your fantasy live, and this is 36 for 36. You pick one driver per week. There's 36 races, 36 drivers. It's kind of like a survivor thing. You see how many points you can get. Like I did really good this week, not so much here. But we're at Texas, so I'm going to see who I have. I have Chase Elliott available. That's who I'm throwing in. So that one's set. You don't get any points for your rewards through this part, but through the fantasy team right here, you do. As soon as it loads. So this was last week. This is last week's entry. I'd have to go back and look and see what I got. Let's see what I got last week. So he got me 15, 29, 35, 18, 34, and 1. But he's in my garage, so his points don't count. He wrecked early, so I pulled him. So what you do is you select your team. And like I said, I'm not setting mine. I won't set mine until after qualifying. But let's just say he's in the garage. This is the lineup. And let's say he wrecks. This guy right here, Austin Dillon, wrecks in the first stage. Well, then I pull him out and put him in, and then I get his points versus his. So that's why you have a garage. And then you do head-to-head. Whoever you think is going to finish higher. And each one of these is 10 points, and setting your lineup is 10 points. So there's another 50 points possible you can win. So it's so easy to rack up points in this that it's just the easiest way to get free stuff and get tickets, merchandise, sweepstakes. They did a sweepstakes the first year I got involved with the fan rewards. The first year I noticed about it. One of the sweepstakes was a free year of gas from Sunoco.
Shoot.
Yeah.
That's freaking.
And it was 50 points per entry. So, if you have if you have 3,000 points, you're looking at 1,500 entries. So I never won it, but by that point, I had already used my stuff to get merchandise before I realized the sweepstakes was there. So I bought some sunglasses, some other crap. I don't even remember what else I bought, to be honest. But then when I noticed you could start doing tickets, I was like, okay, wait a minute here. So that's how we got our tickets to the Bristol night race and the Michigan race, was through this app. Free. That's why people that complain about the cost of it, that drives me insane, because if you go on and get your tickets and you can get them for free, you're still having to pay for a hotel and food, but you don't have to pay for the tickets.
Hey, man.
For somebody like us, there's two of us. So if we both get tickets to the same race, we could take a couple with us to the race. Obviously, we won't sit next to each other normally because her tickets will be together and so will mine. Mm-hmm. But you could take 4 people to a race for free.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's a good deal either way, man.
So, but we were talking earlier about speeds and stuff. So what I'll tell you was the breaking news was after the race at Talladega, Denny Hamlin started talking to the people, the heads up at NASCAR, and was telling them that there's too much drag on the cars. Like they need to reduce the drag to make it easier to pass. Because you'll see the cars, they have a spoiler on the back. Well, the air comes over the car, hits that spoiler to help kind of keep it, and it helps squat it down too. It puts downforce on it too, but it also creates drag. Drag is bad. Think about a person running in the Olympics and they have everybody's racing, but one guy has a parachute on. He's obviously going to be slower than the rest of them. Yeah. But that's what the drag is. So drag is
but you need that drag. You need
Right.
that drag so the car don't take off, basically, right? Or don't like start
Well,
flying.
It helps keep the car slower, but it does make it harder to pass. And it helps keep downforce on the car because that air coming over the top is hitting that spoiler and actually pushing the car down.
Right.
It's also hitting the front and pushing the car down. So he talked about cutting the spoiler down an inch with NASCAR and making it like 3 inches. And that's all fine and dandy. But it's going to reduce drag. It's going to make downforce not as prevalent, and it's going to make the cars a little more unstable. And the problem with that is then they said by cutting 1 inch off a spoiler would allow that car to run about 212 miles an hour. And right now they run about 195. So you're going to cut 1 inch and add about 20 miles per hour.
Yeah.
That's how finicky these cars are. I've told people before, I was watching a race with Kevin Harvick, and Rodney Childers was his crew chief. And Kevin came on the radio, and I had the scanner in my ear, and said, "This car is a damn dump truck. I can't turn it. It won't do anything." They were coming up to a pit, and mind you, he had qualified like third, and now he's last. And they came to a pit, and Rodney says, "Okay, we're going to take a 1/4 pound of air out of the front tire." Or one of the tires. I don't remember which one. 1/4 of 1 pound of air out. They went back on the track, and Kevin Harvick passed everybody and wound up winning the race. That's how finicky these cars are.
That's insane. That's weird. That's wild, man.
But
they give it more traction or something? I mean, what was that supposed
helps
to do?
the stability. It helps stability. It helped the car turn. It's that simple. It's that simple. I mean, I guess it's not simple, or else everybody would do it. But yeah, I mean, a 1/4 pound and you think about going and putting air in your tire at the air compressor. You go up to like 35 pounds, whatever. You don't have the option to go, "Oh, I want to go 34 1/4. That's not an option for you. But these guys can. And not only that, when they go out on the track for like practice, qualifying, and even during the race, a lot of times the tires have about 10 pounds of air in them. If you have 10 pounds of air in your car, you're not going to drive it to work. But these guys are going to go out there on 10 pounds of air in the tire and go drive 170, 180 miles an hour. Now, air pressure builds up, obviously, based on heat. So that's why they have to start them so low, because they're going to expand so much with heat. Yeah, when you see them go out, you'll see the tire on the ground. It looks like going out to your passenger car and having a flat tire. That's what it looks like, and they're going to take off driving on it. It's crazy.
Is that what wears the tires out too? Where they got to change them out?
Yeah, I mean, excuse me, it definitely puts pressure on the tire. And Goodyear comes out and tells them, "We suggest you put it at about 13 to start. That's our suggestion. If you're going to start low, but these crew chiefs are like, no, I can go lower to give us more traction." And so they do. So they bump it down 1 or 2 notches, and it's, but the tracks tear up the tires anyway. But yeah, starting them that low, obviously, you'll see a lot of times they'll come in and get tires, and maybe they try to go too low and the tire just blows out. It just cuts the tire down. The rim just cuts it.
Right.
But there's other times where they just take off driving and they're rolling. It's crazy when you see them come out, and you see that tire damn near on the rim. You're like, what in the? And then by the end of that stint, whenever they need new tires or a caution, the tires built up in air pressure. but they also get that hot too because I mean they're also running a lot faster. So yeah, it's crazy. I like the 3 race weekends because it kind of makes my weekend because it gives me Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know, keeping an eye too. The Stars and Wild game just kicked off with hockey, so I don't know if we have an update yet. I think trying to see real quick, see if we can give an update on our. We mentioned it at the beginning, the Oklahoma and Texas, or Texas
Are they playing
A&M.
right now? What time they play?
That's what I'm looking right now. Let's see. Arkansas is up on Texas right now, 1-0 in softball.
That's what's his name?
They play at 9
McDowell.
o'clock.
Oh, wow. McDowell's Coach McDowell's daughter plays for Arkansas. Ella McDowell.
That's what you were telling me. Yeah, that's what you were telling me.
Yeah, she's pretty good, man.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I do with my previews, and then sometimes I jump on like Saturday after qualifying for just a real quick. I know this is nothing, but this is just like a little 5-10 minute video normally about setting my fantasy lineup after qualifying. But and then Monday I normally do my big review show going through the whole race weekend, who won, margin of victories and all that stuff. So other than that, I appreciate you jumping in and kind of going back and forth and asking some questions. And I appreciate Darren and Adam both jumping in and giving some good questions and feeding the insight and keeping the show rolling. Other than that, I'm going to cut out of here and go try to catch some of this hockey game before bedtime up here. It comes early for us old folks.
Yeah, you tell me about it, man.
Boy, brother, it ain't like it used to be. You couldn't go to them high school games and come home at midnight and get up and go run orders at work all day. Now,
Yeah, I remember we used to do that, man.
Yeah.
We should catch some Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm. Right. So yeah, but no, I appreciate everybody tuning in and joining, and definitely for sure, keep it rolling. We'll do this more often. Keep your eyes and ears open too. I'm SEC Sean. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, pretty much anywhere. Patreon. Patreon's where we do the giveaways for paid members, with driver autographs. But you can find me on here for sure. We'll do a NASCAR talk. We're going to get some hockey talk rolling. Maybe. It depends on if my Stars can survive tonight. But we're definitely keep an eye out for when I go live. Hit the notification bell, because Doug and I are going to be getting together more often, coming up with college baseball, college softball. Definitely going to have to start getting prepped for high school football, because I know it's around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And, then, of course, my buddy Adam, who was in the chat, he's a big soccer guy. We're going to get down and talk about the World Cup some. So we'll get some of that going with that coming to the Americas. We'll go talk about World Cup. But, yeah, we'll definitely get together for some high school ball for sure. We got to wait till we get our magazines out, though, first. I got to get my magazine, have time to go through it, and then we'll get together and kind of look at some of the districts we like, the district, Manville, of course, who just had a kid get an offer from Vanderbilt, a junior. I think he's a junior wide receiver. Carter St. Jude. Yeah, I know, shocking. Manville has a wide receiver.
Vanderbilt. Dude. Well, yeah. Vanderbilt, you got to be pretty smart to go to Vanderbilt, man.
Yeah. He's also got an A&M offer already, too. So, but I think he's been offered by Houston, a couple of other smaller, schools, too. I'm not saying Houston's smaller, but, your smaller schools, Prairie Views and all them are going to offer a kid like that anyway. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, kid's pretty legit. I've seen him play a couple times last year. He's good. He's like 6'3". Been a while. So looks like we're building it back up down there. Looks like Kirk's got it going in the right direction. So knew it was a matter of time. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to talk about some stuff. Talk about DeSoto's and Dobies and all that good stuff. Go through it. Alito.
Yeah, you see, North Shore is getting a new facility built right now.
I did.
They showed something on Tascasita, man. How much they're spending just on freaking new helmets, man. $30,000-$40,000.
Oh yeah, that's what it is nowadays. Yeah, a lot of teams are going to these indoor facilities and all this stuff now. It's just you can't. We've done it. You can't do high school football practice in the gym.
No, yeah, we've done it. You can't do it.
It doesn't work. Not nowadays, for sure. Back then, I think it worked, but not now.
Well, you had to back then. Yeah, no choice.
Yeah. So these guys, we're definitely going to get into some of it. There's some good conversations. I don't know if you saw this or not. This popped up on my Matt Step. It was baseball, high school baseball. Grapevine.
Oh, yeah. They got in trouble for something.
Two-time defending state champion, going for the first. They were going to be the first school to three-peat. They self-reported an ineligible player and got kicked out of the playoffs.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it, I guess.
Well, I mean, everybody's been caught at once.
Yeah.
I mean, so. Anyway, I'm going to jump off, go watch this. This is not good. The Minnesota Wild just scored already, so we're going to see what Dallas can come back in this one.
Okay.
Other than that, we'll catch up, and we'll go through some more stuff, and we'll get it going. I appreciate you jumping on, and have a good evening down there in the hot, humid Texas.
Yes, sir, I will, man. I appreciate you, man. It's good talking to you, man. We'll do it again soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother.
Bye.